Welcome, everybody, to the Synapse Philosophy Group. I'm your host, Dr. Haig John, and I got Dr. Alan Lichter, Dr. Robert Crystal, our honorary PhD, Carol Crystal, and Dr. Barry Hobbs. And Carol Crystal, our master's in chemistry. Is that right? Your chemistry major. But we've got a great group, and we're talking about health and wellness, and chiropractic being we say we're talking about natural health. And in reality, I mean, chiropractic is a healthcare system, caring for the health of our frame, caring for the health of our neural system, and all the things connected to our neural system, which is everything, right? And the difference from a sickness care system, when you care for the sickness, and there's a time and the place for that, absolutely, positively. But when we're really talking about managing health, is what we're talking about. And Alan was mentioning, you know, why do we, and there's been research studies about this, of second, third generation chiropractic kids, people getting adjusted for years and how healthy they are. And Alan, you were just mentioning about how rarely do we see in our own, illnesses. I don't like saying even the word sick, our own illnesses. And one of the thoughts I had is, one thing is, chiropractors were taught to, and actually my father, he was internal medicine. That's the way they were taught in the 1940s. That's when he went to medical school in England, and watch the body, see if it adapts. And then if it's unable to adapt, you intervene. Does that make sense? Perfect sense to a chiropractor, or people that have been in chiropractic for a while. Let's see if the body adapts. Let the fever do its job. Now, if it's going too far and there's some other issues, we're seeing the body's unable to adapt, then we intervene, right? And that's when we refer out and those type of things.
But
So,
people just so often don't even think about the things that the body does to protect them or keep them healthy,
yeah,
or to help them when they have an injury. People go, you sprain an ankle, and people don't think about the fact that what happens when you sprain your ankle? What's your body do?
yeah.
Does it swells up, it puts a bunch of fluid around it. Why does it do that? It's so you don't move it. What do? You put a brace on it to do the same thing. Your body's trying to immobilize it.
Mhm.
And in that process, the chemicals that are in that fluid cause pain. Why? Because it doesn't want you to move the damn ankle that you
Don't
sprained.
walk on it. Exactly.
So your body is saying, don't walk on this, and I'm going to swell it up so it doesn't move, so you don't move it if you do try to walk on it. Your body knows what to do. There's times when it's an advantage to assist it and to put the brace on it to help immobilize it. But to understand that your body's already doing that, most people never get to that point. Chiropractors, I hope, mostly understand that that's part of the process. That's innate doing its job. That's your body's natural intelligence doing what it needs to keep you functional and healthy. It's an allow the normal healing process in that ankle that you damaged to heal itself in the best possible way. Does it always do a perfect job? Hey, scar tissue doesn't look like the original skin, but is there skin there? Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Who cares if you have a
did the
keloid?
surgeon put it there? No. If you had a surgery, they cut you open and your body healed the skin and it healed everything else that he cut into. Your body
Absolutely.
did that part, not the surgeon.
Mm-hmm. Now, when I've seen lots of people that had wounds that wouldn't heal, right? And what was happening? Their bodies unable to adapt. They were actually very, very ill. Now, I don't know if you've ever had this experience. You start adjusting them, and then all of a sudden, I had this one man. He was taking huge amounts of insulin a day, experimental sized doses, with a wound. And they had, I tell the story, and it's so disgusting, but he had a pump to suck the pump out of pus out of this horrible wound. Hyperbaric, doing everything you can imagine. We started his wife, and he wouldn't come and get adjusted. His wife, his kids, his grandkids, and he paid for them all, and he wouldn't come in. Finally, they drag him in because they're going to cut off his legs, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were going to cut off his legs. He's like, all right, I'll go. And within a week, a scab grows over that really horrible pus driven cyst or whatever wound. And not what the chiropractor did not do, the healing. The chiropractor knew what to do to handle the situation, remove the subluxation that was keeping his body from being able to heal it, And then the body was able to adapt and heal itself. It's so simple, yet so complicated, but it's so simple. Us chiropractors have screwed it up for years and trying to do some.
Yeah, and chiropractors have been confused by the fact that BJ and Didi and everybody talks about healing and healing and healing and the things that got well when they took care of people. But they didn't say they treated people. They removed the interference. They adjusted the subluxations. They put the force in, allowed the subluxations to be adapted and healed by the innate intelligence in the human being they were working on or the animal they were working on. And and then the body healed whatever the ailment was and yes, did the chiropractor heal it? He had a component part in that process in releasing the interference that was preventing the body from healing it itself. And once that interference was removed, and that's the key part, once the interference to the nerve system and the communication system within the body is removed, then that symptom went away. That issue that was a dis-ease, a symptomatic expression in the body of dysfunction was able to be relieved and ameliorated by the body itself.
And you hit on a really good point there, Alan, is that the word treatment is for the sickness. You treat the disease, you treat the wound, you treat the problem. What chiropractors, why we don't use the word treat is because we care for the person, and then the body's able to more effectively treat it itself, heal the problem. It's more efficient in function when it's clear of subluxations. Yeah. That's why our words, when people use those, I felt like correcting 90 people today on Facebook. I held my tongue to 45, but but that's how important it is to make sure we're clear on those things. We don't treat it. We don't treat. We adjust. Go ahead, Bob. You got something?
It's just, it's so, to us, it's so natural. We know right from Didi's, from the very beginning, did not use the word treatment in condition with chiropractic. And so here we have a big balance. I mean, a big battle to get people that are even in our field to understand stuff like that,
Yeah. That's why we have to say it and re-say it. But are we able to reel that one back in? I think about that. Are we able to change that within our profession? That the treatment one, just saying treatment. I'm not sure if we could reel it back. The manipulation, I will not stand for. I can't stand it. Can't believe anybody would want to even use the word manipulate. I don't want to be manipulated. Nobody wants to be manipulated. Leave that to whatever. So, but I think we can reel that one in. Go ahead.
There was something in there I was going to say. I'm sorry. I may have lost that train of thought. Oh, and that's the issue is that so many people in our profession today have moved towards all the ancillary procedures they used to be called. And now it's developed into something else. They use so many other things in their offices and they don't differentiate for the practice members that's an addendum to your chiropractic care.
That's important.
It may be beneficial, in your healing process, and I've added that to my bag that I can dip into to assist you in your healing process. But that's not what that's not the important part of what we're doing here. It may feel good. It may assist your body in moving forward, but it's not the chiropractic part is removing the nerve interference, and not enough chiropractors differentiate those two parts of what they do in their office. I'm not, I don't encourage people to use a lot of ancillary procedures. I didn't when I was in active practice, but a lot of people do, and they may have good value for people, and I don't deny that. And if they choose to do that, but you got to tell people what you're doing and why that's what's what. You got to explain it, and people don't.
Well, and that's an important
And
factor.
patients would love that. People would understand what you're talking
yeah.
about. You can
They get
explain
it.
it easily. It's not hard.
They get it.
It's the same thing as the ankle issue. I'm going to give you a brace for the ankle to help your body. Your body's already trying to stabilize it. I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you an ankle brace to stabilize it further and help you keep it healthy. I'm going to put this heat pack on, this ice pack on there because it's going to reduce some of that swelling because your body's already trying to do that, and we're going to help you out. But we're going to get you to do these exercises because they're going to strengthen and help you move better and rebalance the muscles in your spine so they're more evenly balanced and help you hold the adjustments that I'm giving you. I mean, it's easy to do. People go, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Give me that help. But tell people the adjustment is this part. This is something else that's also going to help you, but it's not. This part's the actual chiropractic part. This is part of what we do to help you out.
Having those delineations are very important, and people get it. They want to know more. Like chiropractic, people are so curious about chiropractic because they've not gotten really good definitions. And I'll tell you, this year I slacked. I haven't done my office talk this year. Okay. I've been working so hard on this other project that we've been doing and Save the Babies and creating this movie.
Which is important work, and we appreciate you for that.
Well, thank you. Even this podcast, you guys don't realize how much work this podcast takes to get out there. And creating this book, we're the paper that we wrote, we're creating into a book. This is the other epidemic is, another American epidemic is birth trauma. And it's not brand new. It's from the Industrial Revolution to now. We see most of the issues we see with adults. I put it on my paperwork. Was there birth trauma in your own birth? And then I asked the question, what did your mom always complain about at every birthday like my mother did? I heard the story over and over again, and about my birth. So, and I was very likely, we have really no idea. I was very likely a forceps birth. They knocked my mother out. She's like, they knocked me out as soon as I went into labor. And all of a sudden I woke up and you were here. How did it happen? We don't know.
Why you have no hair?
Well, they pulled me by the hair. They pulled me by my hair. That's what it was. I had a full beard coming out just like yours. So, in honoring births and mothers and babies and really is and adults and then the elderly, the other thing really is, what's hurt the elder care, our elders is Medicare. You get reimbursed pennies. I'm sorry, I don't accept it in my office. I never have. And, that's what we tell people, honestly. And because ultimately, the chiropractor gets the raw end of the stick. You can't run a practice seeing, people on Medicare only. So ultimately, and it's a lot of people won't see them. They won't take it. And I feel so bad. I see a lot of elderly people. Little old lady can't, getting $400 a month in Social Security. I'll see her. I'm not going to say, you got to pay me, the same thing Elon Musk pays. There's a big difference when someone pays $10 and that's a big chunk of their monthly, right? So, I have empathy. But ultimately, I think getting rid of that system for Medicare is going to help our elder care tremendously. In the United States, I couldn't find anybody to take care of my mother when I was emotional and, could barely take care of my mother. And I couldn't find anybody to do it besides my friends. I had great friends come and take care of my mother and my father, great chiropractor friends to do that. But we need to shift in our entire profession, not just shoot at these cabals and all these different things that, a lot of people get angry about. Ultimately, we have to have a plan of growth and success, not just anger and fear, which is so much easier to get attention from. Let's be real. So, chiropractic, we're at the forefront right now. And everybody that's listening to this, like I say, you are the 1% of the 1%. But right now, right now, we're at the precipice of taking our really standing up and saying we are in our rightful place of service to humanity. Pasquale said it in David Shiner's book, is that, when people understand what we are spiritually, chiropractic will take its rightful place. I'm paraphrasing that, but I'm really excited for the future. I have a passage I want to read, page 552. And it's just down at the bottom, just before the hash right there. And I'm going to read it out loud. Okay. Some osteopaths look upon the body as a machine, others as a chemical laboratory, and others still as inorganic matter controlled by an intelligent soul force. The chiropractor looks upon the body as more than a machine, a union of consciousness and unconsciousness, innate's ability to transfer impulses to all parts of the body, the coordination of sensation and volition, a personified immaterial spirit and body linked together by the soul, a life directed by intelligence, uniting the immaterial with the material. That's the proper quote from D.D. Palmer. And that's at the bottom of the page. I think that's very important. And it goes along with what we're saying here, that it's, and we got very caught up. And I love Reggie Gold. I'm not picking on this, but, when his, the letter N cycle, if you haven't heard that, you got to watch it on YouTube. It's very good. And that's what he taught us. I remember it going to his workshop, the letter N, but that was all about the chemistry of the body and how chiropractic affects the chemistry of the body, and not speaking about innate. And I think that's what's done a tremendous disservice to our profession. Maybe it was necessary at the time. Dee talks about that right here. Okay. That's osteopathic. We're just going to talk about the chemistry. And that's right. It's the humoral portion of the body, the fluid flow. That was the original intention of osteopathy, if you didn't know that. Moving the bones just allowed the fluid to flow properly throughout the system. So when we're really talking about chiropractic, we have to talk about innate intelligence. We have to talk about the spirit. He mentions the soul, even bigger than that, in coordination with the whole system. So, this is where we really not back to enhancing and talking about it more, our spiritual nature as chiropractors. All right. Go ahead, Barry. You look like you're looking for the button to unmute.
Can't find it.
You'll get there.
Okay, there I am. So this is really important clinically too, because you'll have people that'll come in and say, it's broken, fix me. And I'll reply, nothing's broken. You're disconnected.
Yeah.
And they truly know, every client, practice member, patient I've had, they truly know that there is an immaterial, that there is a spirit, a soul, an innate intelligence, whatever they want to call it. They know this. It's intuitive within our own soul to know that. As soon as we wake up, what happens? The chatter starts happening, right? Do I have coffee? Do I do French press? Do I do this? Well, that's what I think about, how I have my coffee. But you start right off. Innate does none of that, educated intelligence. So this is really important in the clinical setting, because when those people come in and they have a complaint or they don't have a complaint, you're letting them know, you're always reconnecting them to the source. And that's our product, is innate. That's the idea, is there is an innate intelligence inherent within every living body. Every living vertebrae has a vertebral subluxation on this planet.
Innate is what kept them breathing all night when they weren't awake, when they weren't thinking about being able to breathe or not breathe, or what might be obstructing their airway. Innate's what woke them up in the morning. It's not, otherwise, because if it wasn't there, you don't wake up.
No. Digesting your food. I always say this. Could you imagine thinking about digesting your food and making it into your own human flesh? You would still be digesting thinking about it, your mother's milk, right? It's like, you can't intellectualize that. It happens innately for you. That's the gardener.
They don't think about the fact that they have billions of microorganisms, all with their own innate intelligence, is living in that intestine, which helps them digest the food.
Good point. Yeah. That whole microbiome.
And when that's when that gets out of balance, what happens? Then you have abdominal issues, don't you? And digestive issues.
And can have emotional issues. Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
It's, it's all connected, and innate connects all of it. Thank you very much. Mic drop.
Well, we still have 20 more minutes, so I'm just kidding you.
I didn't mean to end it there.
I'm joking around. But I like this little paragraph. I'm going to post this paragraph.
That's a great
especially.
paragraph, by the way. That is absolutely true.
We had to skip quite a bit. There's a lot of good stuff, but it's DD sort of putting things straight. That little spot was poignant to me because really it goes back to where I see chiropractic getting back to. And, where DD and BJ Palmer were talking about the spiritual nature of chiropractic, it's for the people. Before, we had to do a lot of this stuff to protect it for the chiropractor to be able to take care of the people. We don't need that type of protection anymore, right? We've gone above those moments. Unfortunately, we're licensed and we have to follow medical rules in many ways. I feel a lot of these people that went to jail would be a little unhappy with what we've let happen, including Medicare. But really, now is the time to use all that and take the steps forward, not just being a bone cracker, but someone, and I say that in a loving way in reality, but somebody that is actually serving God within each person, which is really serving the whole as we're all connected. The spiritual nature of chiropractic is a level of service. We're serving that higher power within us that we are not yet able to intellectualize because it's greater than what man can speak. And, we're getting towards ways of adjusting, which is advancing the profession. I think innate adjusting is a part of that. So, but we have amazing things that, the geniuses of our times or before our times came up through within chiropractic that have helped people tremendously. SOT, upper cervical, knee, chest, all these amazing things, Gonstead, Grostic, amazing people that have put themselves secondary to serving people. And that's what chiropractors have done first. Okay. Anybody have any areas they want to jump to in this? That's the part I found. And I'm going to
I kept turning pages.
Yeah. I'm here at Carver adjusting viscera and visceral adjustment. Now, this place viscera. And
What page are you at?
555. Well, the one thing that I am a fan of is actually CMRT. And Major DeJarnette, who's the developer of SOT, he used to call it bloodless surgery. And I prefer calling it bloodless surgery because it's way cooler than saying CMRT. And, it has helped me tremendously, quite honestly. And I do it at least a couple of times a day, or maybe a few times a week, let's say, and that's really helping with somebody. And I haven't read this section yet, and I'm curious about what he says about, again, it's about Carver. He spends a lot of time on Carver, but Carver's analysis for adjusting displaced tissue. And I don't know if you guys want to read that, but I'm going to read that at some point because I'm just very curious about it. And level 4, I mean, I'm really developing innate adjusting is there's a portion where we're doing some visceral type of connections, really. They're contacts at the stretch, the mechanoreceptors. And the mechanoreceptors go straight to the brain. So it's a neurological connection to tell the brain to say, let go, right? You're at ease, you're at peace, right? So we're getting to some, I haven't gotten anybody to level 4 yet. So we're working on adapting that for teaching right now, which is kind of exciting. But in a way, I would even say it's not chiropractic. If I'm not adjusting a vertebral subluxation, let's say it in that sense, that would take us to chiropractic. I don't mind not calling that chiropractic. I really don't mind it whatsoever. I really prefer it. So, it's not my ego that says whatever I'm doing, it has to be chiropractic. That's ridiculous. But that's what we're seeing throughout our profession in very weird ways, very weird stuff, and calling it chiropractic. We need to defend ourselves, but we don't need to necessarily defend ourselves. We need to be on the offense instead of defense for once. Go ahead, Barry.
You know what's interesting? You mentioned Major DeJarnette. So I had a Pearl nervous scope. I think it was in the 60s, but a Pearl nervous scope, and inside of the case had DeJarnette's scans that he and pencil and writing of him with some patients. And I had that for a handful of years. And just 2 years ago, I got rid of it. I sent it to a doctor who was going to use it every day in his clinic. But you mentioned DeJarnette, and he was using the EDL nervous scope to scan his patients and do the research.
That is very cool. Good information on that. I really like that. I do quite a bit of SOT. I'm going to say I don't even do SOT. I do what I've derived a lot from SOT, and I really think he was an absolute genius, was Major DeJarnette. My goodness, amazing man. Anybody else?
Well, I got something on a 558, although it sounds more like BJ than DD. It isn't in quotations, so maybe I'll just read that out because it's an interesting. It says the science of chiropractic has been given as the cause of disease and knowledge for which humanity has been hungering since the dawn of civilization. It will in time do much to relieve poverty and crime, for they are largely diseased conditions. It will in time empty our jails and penitentiaries. It will give us a conscious connection with the unseen life which is believed in by all nations. In the near future, we shall replace belief with a comprehensive knowledge. When disease and crime no longer exist and mankind live to a ripe old age, then the divide known as death will be passed with a knowledge equal to that we now have of disease. Then death, instead of being feared, will be welcomed because the life beyond the veil will be comprehended and known to us as we now know and comprehend this.
I absolutely love that.
And whether it's DD or BJ, I like that.
Well, I say it's DD because he said this relatively the same thing. I think it's page 3 of 1914, around there somewhere. We've lifted the veil of ignorance on what's on the other side. Now,
this is the bottom of 558 for those of you.
Okay, that's what I want to mark. It's that those last 2 paragraphs?
Correct, right at the bottom of the page. It's the end of that Carver section.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I just listened. I couldn't find it before you started reading. So that's great. I really appreciate you passing that along. We're going to move around. We'll dig through this, and we're going to get through this book. We're more than halfway now. We might have some good skipping to do, which, we don't need to read about absolutely everything. If you guys read around, you find something, let me know. Go ahead, Bob.
You probably all heard about this before, but in case you didn't, or just to review anyhow, there was a chiropractor in, I think it was Kentucky, that went into like not a jail, but for the young people, whatever you would call that, and was taking care of these inmates. And it was unbelievable, the results that came from that. And even the warden, what do you call that guy? The warden. Even the warden.
Yeah.
Even the warden tried to get the governor to approve this.
Oh,
and have it go on through into further years. I never heard more about it since then, but it's just really amazing the result that came about from young people by getting their spines checked and adjusted.
Yeah,
that's absolutely amazing. I got to tell you a little bit about my lunch today. Okay, a Korean chicken bulgogi was good. Then I had lunch with literally a world-changing woman, and her right-hand woman, and she started a school 25 years ago, a charter school, and the school has clean air, HEPA filtered air. All the rooms are designed to bring as much natural light in as possible. They grow their own food on campus, a lot of their food. It's all organic, as much organic as they could get, right? Locally sourced meat. When they have meat, I buy local meat from 20 miles down the road, and they watch the glycemic index for all the food. Children get a dessert, a healthier dessert, twice a year, 4 times a year. And on a public school budget. And 70% of their school is below the poverty level. And so they've created a model doing it with a public school budget. It's hard, 3,000 students. Okay. And then they're opening, it's K through 12. They're opening a third campus very, very soon. And they're going to be one of my speakers at Save the Babies in Atlanta. April 25th is at the Frat House, Philosophy at the Frat House. And April 26th is on campus. And so she's going to be one of my speakers, the model for the future of schooling, right? Birthing and how important chiropractic is. Now, Lana Cook, if anybody knows her, she's gotten chiropractic in school. I'm on the board of directors of this school now, as a matter of fact, but she has chiropractic full-time on campus at this school in Montana. So she and I have been talking, and today was the day I was able to introduce that idea, and the light bulbs all went on. And going into these schools and being able to serve these children and care for their parents if they want to come, right? And how much of an impact can we make? Just like what Bob said of the children in what do they call reform school, or whatever they called it back then, when the kids, right? And how big of an impact if we can create that in the model in every school. You go to the school nurse, you get a cut, you're bleeding, you got to get a Band-Aid, right? They won't give you an aspirin anymore if you didn't know that. But if you got a subluxation, that's far more serious. Let's get permission from the parents properly and get that child on the table and clear out its subluxation. Could you imagine if school-age children in America all had their atlas cleared? K through 12? World changing. And we all know that. It sounds so, like what? I don't know, to the general public, right? But when someone gets it, and these two ladies got it, they're like, wow, that's such a fantastic idea. So I'm hooking her, them and Lana up. We're all going to connect. Lana and I talked about it, and we met in Cuba about it. I'm so excited about this. Not for me, because I don't have time to really go over there and do it all the time. Get some chiropractors in there that can do it. But I'm excited for the children. And then the families. You think, how does that impact the family, right? I don't know if you guys have ever had around tax time, people always come and say, like, you know what? My kids haven't gone to the doctor as much. I don't have as much to deduct on health care or sickness care, really, because the kids have been healthier.
Wow.
You got to write them a receipt, right? Here you go. At least deduct that. There you go. I don't know who Matt was, but he didn't draw any naughty words on the screen like some of the other people did. So I let him stay. So we're making impacts in this world, everybody, and all of you are a part of it. And I feel blessed and honored to be a part of it with you. And we're going to keep moving forward and changing the world. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Well, that's all I have for tonight. Anybody else have anything? Or we'll have a gorgeous night, everyone.
I'll ask y'all to send some positive vibes. My wife, she had an exacerbation. She had a knee surgery about 5 weeks ago, and she did something and it blew up and got all swollen a couple of days ago, and wound up back in the hospital for evaluation. She's home again now, but if you all could send a little positive energy our way, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Sending it. Absolutely.
There's times when you need to go to the hospital. It's okay.
100%.
It works. And sometimes you need other intervention to assist
Heck yeah.
the process.
There are limit. We talk about limit.
Chiropractors are not anti-medicine. We want you to use it appropriately.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. 100%. Yep. You hit the nail on the head. And that's a good place to say arrivederci to everybody.
Thank you all.
Good night, everyone. And we're praying for your wife. What's your name? Do you mind if we share it, or
No,
you don't have to?
that's Deborah.
Deborah. So we're praying for Deborah. Absolutely. Have a great evening, everybody. I'll see you next week.
Next week.
I'll let you know how all this develops, but I hope I see you in Atlanta too. I could use your support. Bye, guys.